Welcome everyone. Today's Omid is MAKOS Daf Chof Aleph Omid Beis. We're on Chof Aleph Omid Aleph in the Mishnah. 5 lines from the bottom. Chof Aleph Omid Aleph. Says the Mishnah. It's fascinating Gemara. We're going to be studying the essence of Malkus, when you get how much, what. Complicated sugya, big machlokes we're showing him. Hopefully we'll get some clarity over here. Says the Mishnah, Nazir. You got this Nazir, Sean. Nazir shahaya sheisa kol hayom. You have a Nazir. Nazir is not allowed to drink wine. You need a Gemara on the bima, the big one. Nazir shahaya sheisa kol hayom. And Nazir is drinking the whole day, right? He drinks wine. He's not allowed to drink wine. He's drinking wine the whole day. He sits down in a bar, tavern, I don't know what you call it, and he's drinking yain the whole day. So what's it then? Ein chayev ela achas. How many malchus does he get? 1 malchus. This is really the heart of the whole Maseches Malchus. He drinks the whole day. How many malchus? 1 malchus. 1 malchus. 1. Ein chayev ela achas. Omar lo al tishta. They said to this Nazir, don't drink. And he keeps drinking the whole day. Chayiv al kol achas v'achas. He's chayiv each time. The chayiv means each time they told him don't drink, right? Every time he said don't drink, Malchus. Don't drink, Malchus. So now the Gemara Mishnah is going to say a bunch of different cases that are basically the same idea. He's not allowed to be Tomei, this Nazir. He goes to the basic forest, he becomes someone Mesim. Ein chayiv ela achas. He's hanging around in the basic forest in the cemetery. How many times is he chayiv? 1 time. They told him, don't be Tomei. They give him azara. But he ignores him. Chayiv akol achas v'achas. He's chayiv each time. Same case. Another case. He's not allowed to shave, right? This Nazir. He shaves the whole day. He's busy shaving. The guy's got a lot of hair, obviously. I guess he takes like very small snips, right? Instead of doing like taking an ambazero, he just keeps cutting it. And he's chayiv 1 malchus. They told him, don't cut. Next case, similar case, but this we'll see is actually a very different case. He's wearing kilayim. You're not allowed to wear kilayim, right? Semel pishtim yachad. You're not allowed to wear woolen linen garments. And guys wearing woolen linen. Now, obviously, this has nothing to do with the Nazir. No one's allowed to wear kilayim, right? So the Rivon says at the bottom, it's Rashi, Rivon, whatever. Mishnah, lavish kilayim. Echam min hashuk v'loy Nazir. Now we're talking about a random guy, not a Nazir. Okay. Echad min hashuk. So hayalevish kilayim kol hayom. Ein chayiv ela achas. He's chayiv 1 time. Amulay al tilbash. He told him, don't wear kilayim. Vu poishet v'loivish. And in this case, it says he takes it off, he puts it back on. Chayiv kol achas v'achas. He's chayiv for each time. Now, before you go further, I just want to say what's happening over here. Why is he only chayiv once? Because the Gemara doesn't deal with it as much, but we're trying to dive into this. Why? Rashi explains, why is he only chayiv 1 malchus? This guy is drinking wine, he's drinking. Why is he only chayiv 1? Because you need asra to be chayiv, right? You need asra. And Rashi says it's got to be toich kedei dibur. If you drank, he says don't drink yain, and he drinks to 10 in the morning, and then he drinks at 11 in the morning, it's not toich kedei dibur. Or he drinks 10:01. But it's got to be, the warning has to be within 3 seconds. Rashi says you're going to forget the warning. You forgot. Oh, right, I wasn't supposed to drink. Right, I forgot. He ignored it. He forgot it. That's why you have to. That's why he's only chayiv 1 time. But if they tell him don't drink again. So every time they told him don't drink. So right in that time frame you can't drink. They just told you don't drink. Why are you drinking? You can't say you forgot. He just said don't drink. Basically, it's like you guys got short-term memory. 10 seconds. He said they told him don't drink. You get malchus. Oh, I forgot. I forgot. Okay, that's how Rashi understands the Gemara, right? The Ritva brings Rashi. It's not over here. Rashi says the reason why you get 1 malchus is because the hasra always has to be tachik the dibur of the avera. You've always got to tell a guy right before he does avera, don't do it. The Ritva says, B'Shem Nari, that the reason why you don't get Malkus, if a guy's drinking yain, he's got a big bottle, and he's drinking, he's got 10 liters, and to be chayiv, he's got to drink a revi, it's like 30 cc, whatever it is, right? So the reason why he gets one Malkus is because there's only one Maisa, says the Ritva. He did one Maisa. In other words, of course, he did many lavim. Yeah, each kazais, each revius, whatever it is a separate avera. But you only get Malkus for doing a Maisa, right? You have to do a Maisa. And just like talking is a Lav Shem Maisa, right? We're talking Lashon Hara, you don't get Malkus. Why? Lav Shem Maisa, Baruch Hashem, it's not that serious. You don't get Malkus, right? That's not what I said, the Gemara says that, right? Don't think that it's much less serious, you don't get Malkus for it. It's Lav Shem Maisa. So you don't get Malkus for it. So if a guy's drinking, and he's holding out the bottle, I guess if you put down the bottle, you went like this, you did a hefsek, that's a separate Maisa. But if you're holding out the bottle, you just went, go, just do that go thing with your throat, swallowing, that's not enough of a Maisa to give the guy another Malkus. So he picked up the bottle he drinks, he could drink 10 liters. It's one Maisa. He did 100 Averas or 1,000 Averas, but he did one Maisa of picking up the bottle and drinking. That's how I understand the Ritva. However, Lefi the Ritva, it says the Ritva, black and white, if he drinks and he takes a hefsek, and he drinks again, he'll be chayiv 2 malchus. So our Mishnah, when it says he drinks, he gets 1 malchus, is talking about a case where he drinks without a hefsek. But if he's mafsik, then he for sure gets 2 malchus or 100 malchus, right? So in that case, Lefi the Ritva, why does the Mishnah talk about a case where they told him, don't drink, right? Just talk about a case where he stopped in the middle. The Mishnah says if he told him don't drink, he gets malchus for each time. He'll get 10 malchus now. So, why didn't the Mishnah just talk about a case where they said, where he put the bottle down, he was mafsik? In that case, the Ritva will say you're also chayiv. The Ritva says you're not chayiv malchus because it's 1 maisa. But if the Ritva, if you did 2 maisim, you're chayiv 2. You did it 5 times, you're chayiv 5. So why does the Mishnah talk about that case? The Mishnah talks about a case where he's doing 1 maisa, but they said don't drink. So if the Ritva, the Chiddush is even if it's 1 maisa, says the Mishnah, since they kept warning him, he's chayiv each time they warned him. That's already a new maisa. They said don't do it. He's still drinking. Don't do it. So he gets malchus each time. Of course, if he puts it down, that's 2 separate maisim. There's no chiddush there that he gets malchus. The chiddush is that even if he's holding it up, he's still going to get malchus every time he told him no drink. So the Ritva, there's no real problem he's going to forget, like Rashi says. Rashi says he's going to forget. It's going to be techidibba, he's going to forget. Says Ritva, he's not going to forget. And the fact is, if he keeps going like this, 1 asra, and he puts it up and down 10 times, he'll get 10 malchus. It's 10 maisim. Why doesn't he get malchus? It's because it's 1 maisa. Taisa says that, Taisa Arid says that the reason why he only gets 1 malchus is because even though it's 2 maisim, and even though he should know, but the guy could claim, he could say, oh, I only thought I'm going to get 1 malchus. And if he thinks he can only get 1 malchus, you can't give him 2. So I made a mistake. You can't give a guy malchus if you didn't know he's going to get malchus. So you tell him don't drink, he can always claim, wait, I made a mistake here. And the Rambam I'll finish with this. The Rambam has a fascinating shita. The Rambam says if they tell him don't drink this bottle, the bottle has 10 revias. Say don't drink the bottle, there's 10 revias, you get 10 malchus, then he'll get 10 malchus. If they tell him don't drink that 1 maisa and he drinks it, it's mashma in the Rambam that the reason why he doesn't get malchus is because he doesn't know that he's going to get the malchus. Which one is similar to the Tosfos Rid? He could say I didn't know, right? The problem isn't he's going to forget. If they say don't drink this whole bottle, there's 100 revius in there, you're going to get 100 malchus. So if the Rambam, if he drinks it, he's going to get the 100 malchus because he was warned and he knew when he did it. Okay, says the Gemara. Yesh chayresh telem echod. You have a case, right? The Mishnah does this in a few places. We had it before. Trying to find a case where poor guy does 1 maisa and he's chayiv a slew of malchus. Chayresh telem echod. Chayresh telem echod. V'chayiv olav mishum shmeina lavim. He plows 1 field, but he's chayiv. A telem is a row. he plows 1 row in the field, he gets 8 malchus. So the Mishnah is going to listen. What are the 8 malchus? So, Cherish b'shor v'chamor, he's doing shor v'chamor b'yachad. You're not allowed to plow with a shor and a chamor. V'hein mukdoshin, v'kilayim b'karen, it's kodesh, and v'hein mukdoshim, they're kodesh. You're not allowed to use the behemoth as kodesh. I guess it was, the guy said it's going to be used for carbon, whatever, we'll see. V'kilayim b'karen, and the karam itself isn't a regular karam, there's kilayim. You're not allowed to plow a field, but there's kilayim. There's two different species in the field, right? That's the 4th one. Ubishvius, he's plowing the field and it's shvius. You're not allowed to plow a field on shvius. Every 7th year, you got to rest your field, right? V'yom tov, and it's also yom tov. And also, v'kayin v'nazir b'beis hatumi. He's also a kayin. He happens to be born from his father was a kayin. And he was makabel on himself Nazirus, so he's a Nazir. And why does he get malchus? Because he's a kayin Nazir? Because it's a basic tumma, it's a basic kvaris. A kayin, the Nazir is not allowed to be in a basic kvaris, and also a kayin, he's not allowed to be mitame. So you got your 8 malchus over there. The question is, the Rambam asks in Pirush HaMishnayos, we have a klal, ein issa chalal issa. Right, once you have 1 issa, you can't have other isurim chal on it. If a woman's also because she's your sister, she can't also be also because she's your Eishes Ish, whatever. You first have an Issa, and then once she's also to you, it's also. So this feels also for him to plow. How could you have all these Isurim? Why did he get Shmein Alavim? How are they all Chal? Ein Issa Chal Issa. So the Rambam says, because when all the Isurim happen simultaneously, all at the same time, then they're all Chal. So even though there's a principle, ein issa chal issa, if something's also to you, it can't have a new issa. You can't something new can't be also. But here they all happen simultaneously. The Shag Azari asks, how could that be true in this case with Kilai, with Shavius and Yontif? The first day of the year, Shavius is also to plow, right? And Yontif only happens, let's say Yontif of Sukkot or Yontif of Pesach, happens 6 months later or 12 or 2 weeks later. So you first had Issa Shavius, then you got Issa Yontif. It's not at the same time. So there's a whole slew of answers that the Achronim give. The most interesting one is the Yontif is Rosh Hashanah. The Yontif we're talking about is he plowed on the first day of Rosh Hashanah, so Shavius and Yontif came at the same time. That's where you have to say the case is. Okay, just interesting side note. So that's your case. Says the Mishnah, Chanina ben Chakinai Oimer Afalovish Kilaim. I can throw another Issa that this guy's doing, which will give him another Malchus. He's wearing Kilaim. You're not allowed to wear Kilaim. He went to a store, he bought a soup with Semapishtim. It's another type of Kilaim. Amalai, he answered him, Ein Hashem. That's a different Maisa. That's like another Charisha. He's getting Malchus because he's wearing Kilaim. He could also be eating pig. It's a totally separate Maisa. It's got nothing to do with, we're talking about Charisha. You did Charisha, and for the Charisha you get Malchus. The fact that he's wearing Kilaim, that's got nothing to do with it. That's not the same Maisa. That's a different Maisa. So the answer back goes, you're telling me this Nazir is in the basic Kvaros, he gets Malchus. That's also not the same Maisa. It happens to be a Nazir in the basic Kvaros. It's not because of Charisha. It's not because he's plowing the field. It's like Kilaim. What's the difference between the two? Why would you say that you can't include a guy wearing Kilaim, but you're going to include a guy that's a Nazir? That's nothing to do with the Charisha. Okay, let's see the Gemara. Omar of Bibi comes up again in our Gemara. Omar of Bibi, Omar of Yesi. Paishet v'leivesh, leivesh mamish. When it says in the Mishnah that you're over for wearing kilayim, if he takes on and off his clothes, does he have to take on and off the whole beged, or is it enough he just puts his arm in and out of the sleeve to be mechayiv for wearing kilayim? That's the most kasha. So another case of machvir of acha bereid or of ika, he showed him. He didn't answer the question. He just did a physical demonstration. Breda Ravika, Ailuva Pukit, in and out. It's a machlekes said, does it mean he put the whole packet on and off, or he just put the arm in and out? So we don't really understand what you showed them. But obviously it's a machlekes what that means. But Pashas it means he took off the whole beged, he went in and out of the whole beged. But some say it means he put the arm in and out. Okay. Ravashi says, Afilu loisha ala kadei livsha the lilvash chayav. He doesn't have to actually take the beged on and off. It's enough that he waited enough time to take the beged on and off. How long does it take you to take a suit on, off and on? Whatever. It takes you 30 seconds. So as long as he waited 30 seconds with this beged on him, he's chayiv again. Every 30 seconds, he's chayiv. 30 seconds, chayiv. 30 seconds, chayiv. Massive chiddush. The Taisus ask, but it's a lav shem b'maisa. In other words, he's standing there with his beged kilayim, a brand new suit, kilayim, every minute, malchus. It's a lav shem b'maisa. He's not doing anything. And this is how we paskin. The little letter that says that's how we paskin. Ravashi says, as long as he's standing there for enough time to take it on and off, he's chayiv. Every minute he's chayiv another malchus, another malchus, another malchus, another malchus. Why? It's a lav shem b'maisa. So Taisha says that we got the whole lav shem b'maisa thing wrong. Why do you need a maisa to be chayiv a lav? You don't get malchus for the maisa. You get malchus for the lav. But there's a condition. There has to be some type of physical action involved in it. So since he put it on originally, he's going to get malchus now just from keeping it on. You use the original maisa he did together with the fact that he didn't take it off now to give him malchus every minute. In other words, it's not the pshat that he gets malchus for the maisa. He gets malchus because he's being over the lav. Being over the lav means you're wearing it. That's a lav. Every second you're wearing it. So, but there's no maisa. He's just standing still. He's not moving. So, but since you can connect the maisa he did 5 minutes ago, they put it on to the maisa, to the fact that he's wearing it now, that's considered a lav sheyesh boy maisa. That's considered a maisa. There's a famous Gemara that says if a guy's wearing kilayim b'shuk, guy's walking down the street and he finds he's got kilayim, he's got to rip it off, take it off. Right? Why? Because it's a lav. It's a. But what do you mean? He's wearing it. He didn't do anything. He's not. Cover the bris is doicha like a lot of things. Why should he take it off? Why should he have to like go now naked in the street because he's wearing kilayim? Right? If he does a maisa, we understand. And they compare it to a case where it says they what's the din? A Talmud Chacham finds a Veda. You've got a lav. He's not allowed to loisach alisalim. You have to pick it up and give it to the guy. But if it's something that's mevuzah for this Talmud Chacham doesn't have to give it to the guy, right? But so there, in the case of the Talmud Chacham, he has to go ahead and do a maisa to be. The case of kilayim b'shuk l'chayra, you can see from there that the fact that he's just because he's wearing the kilayim, even though he's not putting on the jacket, he's walking down the street. You see from there that that's considered being a maisa. That's considered the guy's doing a maisa because he put it on 5 minutes ago. Now he's got to take it off. Otherwise, covered abrius would be doicha, like the case with covered abrius tells the Talmud Chacham, you don't have to give back that thing, that aveda that's a bizayin, right? It's considered a maisa because he has to actually go ahead. It's considered a maisa since he put it on originally. You look at it like it's a maisa. Okay. So that's what this understands. If he's wearing it long enough to take it off, we can connect the maisa that he put it on 5 minutes ago and consider it the whole thing one maisa. Yesh chaysh telem, says the Gemara. This guy's plowing his row, right? Omar Rav Yanai said, B'chabura nimnu, they were in the base medrash, they got together, had a chabura, did a shishi, v'gamru. Achaypa b'kilayim loika, someone who covers like the seeds of this kilayim, he gets malchus. You cover with dirt. You got seeds kilayim on the ground, you cover it. You didn't touch the seeds, cover it, you like her. Amar lehen Rav Yechanan said, that's a chiddush. Lav Mishnah Seini Hizu. It's our Mishnah. That's our Mishnah on MAKOS Daf Chof Aleph. The Mishnah says, what does it say in our Mishnah? It says, Yesh chayish telemecha v'chayav mishum shmein lavin. Our Mishnah says he can plow the field, he's chayiv shmein lavin. Hachosh b'shar v'chamar v'mukdash v'kilayim b'keren. It says he says kilayim b'keren. Hay chayrish d'mechayiv mishum kilayim heichem mashkachas lo. So Rabbi Yochanan says to him, why is this guy chayiv for kilayim? He plows the field. Why is he chayiv for kilayim? Lat the michsi bahadi the ozel. We're talking about a case where he's plowing the field and the dirt covers the seeds that's over there. That's kilayim. So they answered to him, Amalei, Ilav the dolila chaspa mimeshkachas mas maganisa tusa. If I wouldn't have uncovered this for you, if we wouldn't have told you, you wouldn't have been able to analyze the Mishnah like that. Shkoyach, you have a Mishnah. That's only because we told you that it's also to cover the seeds. If we wouldn't have told you that, you would never have made that dik in the Mishnah. The mashal is that, that's the nimshal. The mashal is that they used to have, what's it called, like some type of fancy diamond or jewels, I don't know, under the ocean, covered in some type of chaspa, earth, and you take off the earth and you see the jewels. So thank you very much, you found the jewels. But we uncovered it for you. So Amalei Rish Lakish Rabbi Yochanan. Rish Lakish said to Rabbi Yochanan, Ilav the kilsach kavor rabba, if you wouldn't have been praised by this great man, Havamina, I could read the Mishnah differently. Havamina masnisin mani. Rabbi Kiva, our Mishnah is in fact Rabbi Kiva. And Rabbi Kiva has a chiddush, the Omar, a Mekayim Kilayim Laika. Anyone who's Mekayim Kilayim gets Malchus. You don't actually have to plant the Kilayim or do anything. Just by keeping it alive, you get Malchus for it. Which Rabbi Kiva? My Rabbi Kiva. Which Rabbi Kiva said this? The Tanya, it says in the Brisa, HaMenachesh v'Hamechape b'Kilayim Laika. You put, according to Rabbi Kiva, if you put a border around the kilayim, you do anything that kind of protects the kilayim, you get malchus. You don't actually have to work with the kilayim. It's enough that you cover it. It's anything you do to the kilayim to help it grow, indirectly, malchus. So therefore, our Mishnah, where he's talking about his chayrish b'kilayim, it's Rabbi Kiva, even though he doesn't directly help it out, but still, he's going to get malchus. Sorry. So the first sheet is even if he's just mekayim the kilayim, he does anything, he gets malchus. You don't actually have to work. Okay, he changes the gear. So it says the snan, not the tanya. It's a mishnah. It's not a brisa. Okay, my time is Rabbi Kiva. Where did Rabbi Kiva get this idea from? So, the Tanya, it says in the Brisa, Sadcha loy tizra kilayim. Don't plant your field kilayim. Ein li ela zroya. Ein li ela zoreya. I would only think it's also to plant. Mekayim in nine. How do I know you can't even be mekayim the kilayim? You can't do anything to help it. Tamaleimar. This is one of these droshes which I'm not going to understand. Behem t'cholei sabiyah. Don't make animals go together. Kilayim sad cholei tizra kilayim. Kilayim sad cholei tizra kilayim. It says it twice kilayim. Sad cholei tizra kilayim, kilayim, kilayim. Even to be mekayim is considered kilayim. So maybe our Mishnah is Rabbi Kiva. That's why you like that, not because you cover the seeds. So you can't bring a right from our Mishnah. So Amalei Ula Rav Nachman v'Lilki Nami Mishum Zareh B'Yontav. Okay, so now we're going on to a whole new sugya. The Gemara is going to go ahead and bring another bunch of Isurim. Why don't you get Malchus for these Isurim? Amalei Ula Rav Nachman v'Lilki Nami Mishum Zareh B'Yontav. You know what? He's planting a field on Yontav. So Amalei Tanav Ashir. You know what? There are other Isurim in the Mishnah, but he didn't bring them all. You're right. When he's plowing his field, he's also sowing seeds. I guess the seeds go up and down. He's also a vizareya. Says the Gemara, you know what? There's a bunch of other reasons. He could have mentioned other Isurim also. It's not just 8. It could be more. Amarava. Sorry. Amalei Tana Vashir. Amalei Tana Tani Shmeina. Vatamas Tana Vashir. What are you talking about? The Mishnah says there's only 8. You're going to tell me there's more than 8? It's not Mestavra. So in other words, the Rishonim are saying, when do you say Tana Vashir? If the Mishnah says there's 2 things or 3 things, right, then you can say, there's another thing, I didn't want to mention it. When you go ahead and you say it's 8, you see that the Mishnah's trying to bring as many as it can. 8. So it's unlikely to say that there's more. Tana Vashir. The Mishnah left out some others. He says 8. It brings a whole long list. Add more. If it didn't want to go into a whole long list, it says there's 3 things. You can say there's another one it didn't want to get into. But when you listed 8, there's another one. It's not Mustafa, right? Amar Rava answers. Yesh chilik machlekes b'Shabbos. Yesh chilik melachos b'Shabbos. Ve'ein chilik melachos b'Yom Tov. So a quick akdama. How do we know on Shabbos that if you did two separate averas on Shabbos, you get malchus for each one? So it's because there's an issa. It says in Torah, "Leisavaro eish b'chomesh v'seichem b'yom Shabbos." Don't burn a fire on Shabbos. And the Gemara says, why does a pasuk have a separate issa for eish? To tell me that just like you get a separate aver for eish, separate malchus, similarly, all of the memtes malachas, each one is its own thing. You don't get malchus for violating Shabbos. You get malchus for each issa. But says our Gemara, on Yom Tov, you're allowed to burn a fire. The pasuk doesn't apply to Yom Tov, so therefore you don't have this principle that you get malchus for each separate avera. So on Yom Tov you only get 1 malchus. Ve'ein chilik malachas b'Yom Tov. There is no chilik malachas b'Yom Tov, and therefore he already mentioned Yom Tov here. He's already plowed this field on Yom Tov. So it doesn't matter if he does any other averos on Yom Tov. You're not going to get more malchus for violating Yom Tov. You only ever get 1 malchus for violating Yom Tov. Massive chiddush. So Amalei Adatehei. Like, you know what? I made it to you. Beautiful. You said good. Great. You only get 1. Let's take a look. Actually, do we have time? Maybe we'll see. Let's just finish this page. Actually, let's just take a look in Rashi, 4 lines from the bottom. Ein chilik melachas b'Yom Tov. It's just interesting to see it inside. Im asa shtayim v'sholosh melachas b'helem echad. You did 3 averas in one go. Or asa melacha sheish b'shtayim, or you did 1 melacha that's 2 averas. Ein chayv ela achas. You only chayv once. Leman da'amar, why? Leman da'amar vara lechalek yotzes. Burning a fire came to separate them all. Svirele ein chilik malachas b'Yom Tov. On Yom Tov there is no chilik malachas. If you did them all together, you only chayv once. The Yom Tov la yotze savara. On Yom Tov there is no avara. Mandam enami avara lelav yotza. Okay, but there is a mandam that goes the other way. That havara isn't for that. It's a lav yotza. Okay, we're not going to get into it. Okay, back in the Gemara. Says the Gemara, Vatanan. Hamavashel gid b'chalav b'Yom Tov v'achla leike chamesh. So now the Gemara is asking, how can you tell me that on Yom Tov you only ate for 1? It says in the Mishnah, Hamavashel gid b'chalav. A guy, the gid anosh also, he cooks it on Yom Tov with milk, b'Yom Tov v'achla, and he eats it like a chamesh. He gets 5 malchus. Like Mishum Moichel gid, he gets malchus because he ate a gid. You're not allowed to eat the gid anosha, right? For like Mishum Mavasha b'Yom Tov, he gets malchus because he cooked on Yom Tov. You're not allowed to cook on Yom Tov if you're not allowed to eat it. Shalei letzerach. V'leik Mishum Mavasha b'Yom Tov shalei letzerach. V'leik Mishum Mavasha gid b'chalav. And also it's basa v'chalav. You're not allowed to cook basa v'chalav. V'leik Mishum Oichel basa v'chalav. He's like because he ate basa v'chalav. And he gets malchus because he made the fire. You know how to make a fire. Now take a look at the Rivan, the top of the Rashi. Rivan Mishum Avara. If he would have made the fire and his friend would have cooked, they're both chayav. So there's 2 separate something going on here: making the fire and cooking. We'll see tomorrow. Be'ez Hashem. Sugi continues. plot thickens. All right, shkar boys, have a wonderful day.